So, not so much a vlog today, but as I promised in my last video, I just wanted to go through some of the key notes that I took from the photography show of the weekend, particularly from the Turning Pro Masterclass that I attended. But I'll start with just one key point that I took away from Alex Webb's talk, which I thought was interesting. He'd done a Q&A at the end of his talk, and someone asked him, I'm paraphrasing, but because Alex spoke about photographing communities, and yet someone asked him, "Oh, you talk about photographing communities, yet everyone in your photos look so individual and look like they're in their own world." Um, so he was saying that goes against what he's saying about communities, because everyone in your photos look alone and in their own world. And the person asked, "How do you reconcile that?" And Alex Reb thought about it briefly, and he basically said, "I don't reconcile it." He said, "I reconcile it in my photos. I don't reconcile it in words afterwards." He said he's guided largely by curiosity, and so he basically just said he photographs the way he photographs, as in he goes out with his camera and just takes a photo of whatever catches his eye, basically, which I found really reassuring, because when you look at someone like Alex Reb, whose photos are just amazing, and there's so much depth to them, and like I always just thought, looking at them, that he was putting so much thought into them beforehand, like they were so deep, and I thought, wow, here I am just walking around taking photos, and he seems to be, thinking about it on a much deeper level. So I found it really reassuring that that wasn't the case, and he basically takes the same approach as me, where he just goes out and photographs whatever catches his eye that day, and he doesn't overthink things. Like he said, he just photographs the way he photographs, and he said he's guided largely by curiosity. So that was very similar to my approach to photography. So that I thought was really reassuring. Because I just thought I'd make that point. But beyond that, all the talks that I attended, there was many different talks all throughout the day, each day, all on different subjects. But one thing I noticed, that no matter what the talk was about, every single one mentioned the importance to developing your own style and having your own clear style. Every talk, no matter what it was about, mentioned how important, like that was the number one thing to getting noticed, was having your own unique style and then developing on that style. Which I think I'd be interested in if anyone could comment, if you could take take a look at my photos and let me know. I kind of think I've developed my own style. I'm not going to say what I think that is, because I'd be interested to know what other people think. And then if people comment and people are saying the same sort of thing, then I'll know that I have indeed got my own style. But if people are commenting different things, then I'll know I'll have to work on that. So that'll be interesting. And also, if there's anyone that would like me to look at their photographs and I can comment on what I think your style is, I'd be happy to do that. So yeah, key thing more than anything, to get noticed and to give people a reason to want to hire you, is to have your own unique, clear style. And then once you've figured out what you're good at, then work on that. and working it to make sure that you're then the best at what you do, the best in that field. So that was the big takeaway more than anything. And then the next key point, which again several people made in their talks, was just to be proactive. As in, work's not gonna find you. You have to go out there and find it. So an example, there was one girl who'd done a talk, and she was trying to find studio space. So she would actually walk around London and just walk into buildings, walk into pubs, office spaces, whole range of different buildings, and just ask them if they had any space that she could use. And she didn't just walk into one or two. She spent a long time walking all around London, walking into many different buildings, until eventually she finally got herself some studio space. Because I'm a bit guilty of this at the moment, which is something that I need to work on, where up until now, so far, all I've been doing is honing my photography skills and practicing, taking photos and putting them on social media on the different platforms that I'm on, and basically trying to build a following on social media. Maybe, I guess, in the hope that I would then over time maybe be discovered. I kind of thought building a following on social media was key, but it's really made clear in a lot of these talks that you can't wait for people and for work to find you. You've got to go out there and look for it. So that's definitely something I have to work on. And there was another woman, for example, who she got her first paid job was I think it was Monsoon, the clothing store, was her first paid job, and she got that just by taking in, I think she said, some photocopies of some, took in some photocopies of some of her photos, and just walked into shops with them and approached them and asked them if they would be interested, and just from that, walking into their store and showing them some of her photos, she ended up working with them and doing their window displays all across all their stores. And again, that was just by her just being proactive, going in and asking. And another thing on that was you have to keep going, you have to keep trying, you have to continue with your momentum no matter what. So you can't make excuses. You just have to keep that momentum going, even if initially you're not getting things coming in. You've just got to keep going, keep that momentum going. And when reaching people, it really helps to be creative as well. So one girl spoke about when she's approaching clients, every year, people that she wants to work with, every year she makes her own Easter eggs, and inside the Easter egg she puts her business card, and she puts a handwritten letter. She sends them off to all the people that she potentially wants to work with, and she said every time she's gotten a response back. This is just something different, and I guess that helps get you noticed. She also said, this is something totally separate, but I just thought it was a really cool point. She said when she has a day off, she goes to the train station and goes to the ticket machine, and then when it lists all the destinations, she just closes her eyes and just presses on the machine, and whichever destination she happens to press, that's where she goes for the day. And I thought that was a really cool idea. That's something I might try in the future. I like that sort of spur of the moment thing, and just oh, where should I go today? Oh, there, that's where I'm going. And I think that'll really help boost your creativity. The next key point, which again is probably something a bit obvious, but maybe not everyone does or doesn't do it the right way, but that is setting goals. A few people mentioned this as well, how important it is to set goals. But a good point they did say was, so one girl would, for example, set a goal where her goal was to get published that year, and she'd never had any paid work up to then. She was just starting off, and her goal was to get paid work and to get clients that year. And then she was getting upset and getting stressed out because it wasn't happening, and the year was going on, and she still wasn't getting that client and getting that paid work, and it was putting a lot of pressure on her and causing her a lot of stress. And so she said, and other people said this as well, a better thing to do is to set small, achievable goals rather than this big one massive thing that is difficult for you to control. It's better to set small, achievable goals. So a better goal would be approach 10 potential clients each day. And that's something you're actually in control of and you can easily achieve. And that little steps like that will then get you to your greater goal. So, and that's definitely something I'm going to do in the future as well. And the next point, which I thought was kind of interesting, was one guy advised to take the gun to the head approach. So there might be some things that you should do, but for whatever reason you just don't do them. Whether it's like picking up the phone and calling people you want to work with or whatever it is. Things you need to do, but you just don't get around to doing them. So this guy advised to take the gun to the head approach, where if someone had a gun to your head and said, do this, then you're going to do it no matter what. You've got to do whatever it takes, whatever's required of you, whatever it takes, you've got to do. So you can't put it off and make excuses. So it's an interesting thing to think about, just taking that gun to the head approach. Following on from that, if you don't do whatever it takes, and you're not taking all the necessary steps, there are people out there who are prepared to take all those steps and are prepared to do everything that's necessary. So, if you're sleeping every day till 11, 12, and then you're checking Facebook, and then you're making a coffee, and then you're sitting down and watching Netflix for half an hour, whatever, and then getting around to doing a few things. There's people out there who are working on it 18 hours a day and doing everything in their power. So, you've got to think about that.